Hola, ¿cómo están? And what is going on, guys? DarkScheme here, and today I'll be talking to you guys a little bit about a topic I've been kind of thinking about for a while, and honestly I've been kind of giving my own opinion on a few weapons in Halo 5, and overall it kind of just got me thinking about Halo 5's entire arena sandbox specifically, and there is a ton of things that I believe can be changed about it to kind of just bring it or realign it and make Halo 5's arena sandbox just a little bit better. Like I said, the first thing that I will be talking about specifically today is power weapons. So as it stands now, Halo's sandbox is the most diverse it has ever been. Every time you spawn, there is always a better weapon you can be picking up, like the battle rifle, storm rifle, DMR, and obviously those power weapons. With that said though, we also fall into some odd places with certain weapons where some aren't used as much as they should be, and some are kind of just used way too often. Now, if I'm specifically talking about power weapons, I should bring up that both of the weapons I believe are not used as much as they should be are both the plasma caster and the hydro launcher. These weapons are strong, but can be easily outclassed by most other weapons lying around the map. And also for these reasons, I believe that these weapons may be a little too niche, meaning that their certain use is kind of limited. So the first weapon I do want to talk about is the plasma caster, because the plasma caster is considered a tier 3 power weapon. A tier 3 power weapon is any weapon that is spawning on a weapon pad, something like the rocket launcher, sniper rifle, and the railgun. So when you're considering a tier 3 power weapon, you always want to compare it to these three weapons. Usually I do, and when comparing it, the plasma caster doesn't seem that great. The plasma caster seems to have been created as an infiltrating weapon to kind of help break those setups on certain maps, and it's awesome. But on other maps where it's placed like Truth, is for the most part underwhelming. It doesn't have that much of a use on that specific map. But don't get me wrong, it is definitely still a strong weapon. It can easily pick you up a few kills, but like I said, when compared versus a rocket launcher or a sniper rifle, its power and usefulness is obviously in question. And moving on to the hydro launcher. Same as the plasma caster, the hydro launcher is a weapon that can be of good use for maybe 1 or 2 kills. Or it could be completely useless, and most of the times when you pick that weapon up, you end up dying and you think to yourself, I should have just used X weapon. And most of the times that's my experience with the hydro launcher. Every once in a while I'll get an interesting kill with the hydro launcher, and the hydro launcher difference is that it isn't a tier 3 power weapon, it is a tier 2 power weapon, meaning that when you drop it with no ammo at all, it'll spawn within 10 seconds, just like the shotgun, just like the scatter shot. But because not many people pick up the hydro launcher, or even using all of the ammo on the hydro launcher, it doesn't seem that great to be using. It's one of those things where the power of it can be, like I said, underwhelming, and it seems a little too specific for what it's being used for. It seems as if when the hydro launcher was designed, it was created to become a power weapon at first, but after realizing that there might be one too many tier 3 power weapons, its power was toned down in order for it to fit into that tier 2 power weapon list alongside the shotgun and the scatter shot. Unfortunately for the Hydra, its power seems just a bit too underwhelming for that tier that is placed in, even when that tier list is only shotguns really. They're close encounter weapons, and for the Hydra launcher it just seems too tough. Now here's the thing. Here is where I find it difficult to really look into the plasma caster and the hydro launcher, because it seems like maybe we should just buff them. And while I do agree that maybe they should be a little bit stronger, I also believe that these power weapons, not just the tier 3 power weapons, but all power weapons should have some sort of skill gap to learn to use those weapons. The plasma caster is definitely one of those weapons, and obviously the hydro launcher as well. So in my head, in my mind, I'm also thinking to myself, maybe it isn't that these weapons are too useless, maybe it's that the other weapons are a little too strong. When looking at power weapons like the sniper rifle, it's quite easy to use for a decent amount of people. I think the sniper rifle for Halo 5 I stated as being a little bit tough when I first started playing this game, but after a little while I kind of realized that the bullet magnetism seems to make the sniper rifle work really well, and in most cases you can pick off somebody with a no-scope. I believe no-scoping people in Halo 5 is the easiest it's ever been. If I were comparing Halo 5 sniping, I would probably put it somewhere in between sniping in Halo Reach and sniping in Halo 2. I believe Halo 3 sniping is a little bit tougher, so I definitely think that there's something there that could be aligned with all these power weapons. And hopefully we can get the plasma caster either in line with those power weapons, maybe a little bit buff, but I definitely do want some sort of skill gap and some sort of learning curve to using all these power weapons. With the sniper rifle, it seems like you can just pick it up, use it right off the bat, but with the plasma caster and the hydro launcher, it's a little bit more difficult, and like I said, it seems to fit a little bit of a niche role, but maybe that is just because the other weapons are a little too good. Those are just my 2 cents. That is just one of my opinion on rebalancing Halo 5's Arena Sandbox. But that is pretty much it for me today. Hopefully you enjoyed my little rant on Halo 5's power weapons. And let me know, what do you think about certain power weapons? How do you feel about the plasma caster? How do you feel about the hydro launcher? And overall, do you think there needs to be any sort of specific weapon balancing when it comes to power weapons? I'll leave you with that. And as always, I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.